Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be talking, me and you, together, right here, right now. Now this talk we're about to have might not apply to you. I'm talking to the other smaller content creators within the audience here. You know, you especially. Yeah, I know you. You got that YouTube channel. I know. I know it. I know it's small, but I know it. Trust me. Also, the main reason I'm sort of doing what I'm about to do in this video is I just kind of want to have an excuse to test out my new camera. You know, I just want to test it out, because it should be better quality than my old camera, but we'll find out. So what are we going to be talking about today? Well, considering I've been back at doing YouTube since October, so almost 6 months this month, and I've been doing YouTube as a whole since 2019, I'd say I'm qualified to give advice on content creation for smaller content creators, not people like Markiplier. I'm talking like people in the I don't know, 0 to 500 range. Ignore that I've got 160 subs. Shut up. I believe a lot of the advice you're given on YouTube by other people is always, it's either unrealistic or way too harsh. And I kind of want to try and be that person that hits that sort of balance, if you like right in the middle. Anyway, I've got 5 things here that I've written down on my phone here. Hopefully I can articulate them in a proper way, because I've only just written down what I want to talk about. I mean, I haven't written about how to say it, so let's hope I can ramble and it all makes sense. My first piece of advice is find your own way of doing things. I'm talking your own way of editing, what you use, how you record things. Find the way that suits you best, okay? Sure, borrow and look at tutorials and shit, but make sure you're evolving your own way of doing something, you know? Like, I'm not trying to make you be a pioneer or anything, but I'm just... find the way that suits you best. So for me, I use OBS, which a lot of people do. You know, I've got that all calibrated to how I want it to be. You know, I've got my microphone here that's all, you know, ready and, you know, recording on a separate audio track for my gameplay, because, you know, a lot of this advice is going to be a lot about gaming YouTube channels, not, you know, other ones like makeup tutorials, but I mean, it can still apply. This also includes editing softwares. Find the editing software that suits you best and that you work the best with, because that's going to be very, very important. So before I brought back the channel in October 2025, my main editing software was Share Factory Studio, which is a completely native and free editing software on PS5. It is very, very limited in what you can do, but the amount of time I spent on it making content, I actually managed to find some really, really handy-dandy tricks. So even if no one else uses that really very much, you can still learn a thing or two. I've also used Adobe Premiere Pro when my mum used to have her own videography business, because I used to just mooch off her for that. I never really clicked with that one, to be honest, but a lot of people use that. I've also used DaVinci Resolve, which is another one that I didn't really click with that much. It's a really, really good software though, so I would recommend giving it a go. But I don't really click with that one. The main editing software I use is probably one of the biggest editing softwares in the entire world at the moment because of how user-friendly it is. It's CapCut. You know, even the free plan that you can get does the job for most people. I've clicked with that software the best, especially the desktop version. I just find it really handy, and it's got me out of a lot of trouble here with certain editing things. So, you know, again, don't be afraid to try out new softwares and see what suits you best. My second piece of advice is do not get too focused on equipment, as in buying new things that you just don't need. I know that sounds really hypocritical right now because I'm literally using this video to test out my new camera that's fairly expensive, but I've built up to it, you know? That's all I'm trying to say here. Build up to getting new equipment, okay? Sure, I've got a fairly expensive camera, mic, and gaming PC and all that shit. I get that, but you don't need that. Nowadays, you can start making videos for YouTube on anything. Anything with a Wi-Fi signal nowadays, you can do it with, okay? Like, whether that be your phone, just your laptop, you know, anything with a Wi-Fi signal. I mean, when I first started, when I brought the channel back in October 2025, it was my first time having a proper face cam, and for all that, I used this thing. I mean, I know it's covered up because I'm one of those conspiracy theorists that believe people can watch you through webcams. Don't judge me. But you know, it was a very shit quality webcam, but it got the job done for a couple of videos. Then I stumbled upon my old iPhone XR, and that did the job too. I mean, it's not the best quality, sure, I'm trying to move away from it now that I've got this new camera. But it got the job done. It did 60 FPS. You know, it showed me what I could see on the screen because the front-facing camera, 1080p. It's all I needed. And that's got me through the first 6 months of me doing this. So please, please, please do not get too focused on equipment and buy new things, expensive things that you don't need, okay? Build up to it. If you really, really need the upgrade or think it would make your videos better, go for it. But make sure you don't spend a mortgage on it. My third piece of advice is treat this as a hobby. You, being a small content creator like me, doesn't earn money from this very often, if at all. So please keep a balance, okay? You treat this as a hobby that you hope goes somewhere. Don't treat it as your job, because it's very, very different. Don't get too obsessed with editing and content creation to the point where you ignore your own health, you know, going outside, eating properly, seeing your friends and family. You know, we've all been there. We've all stayed until 3, sometimes even 4 in the morning editing something because you're just in the editing zone. I get that. I've been there. But make sure you keep it balanced, because if you don't keep it balanced, you end up getting burnt out, or you'll end up hating your videos, you end up hating your channel, you end up hating content creation as a whole, and then you'll fall out of it, which, no, that doesn't help anyone. You know, YouTube is literally built for people, you know, big or small, to make content. Alright, so again, keep that balance. My fourth piece of advice is have fun with content and experiment with it. Experiment with the styles of videos you make. Now, if we go through all my videos, I mean, again, most of it's going to be gaming, but there's some different avenues you can take gaming with. So my first 5 videos when I brought this back was all, like, you know, horror games for Halloween. And I even did a couple of analog horror videos of my own, making my own story for it throughout. That's some experimentation. Then after that, I did an update video. Then a Half-Life 2 video, then a demo, then some Game Dev Tycoon, then some Exocard showcases, then, you know, Fears to Fathom, then a movie overview, you know, reacting to my old content, ARGs, Batman Arkham Asylum, funny moments videos on Lethal Company, and then Lost Media for Doctor Who Adventure Games. Experiment, try new things, and, you know, try new formats, because, trust me, things like shorts, they get the job done nowadays. Now, my most viewed video ever is Crushing a Cocoa Pop to the Among Us Trap remix. That's got 3,000 views for that. You can make any old shite on YouTube Shorts and it will get popular in some way. I mean, even my puppy as well. I made a video on him. That got a decent amount of views. This I uploaded just like an hour ago. That's already got 173 views. Like, try the formats, you know, try out longer videos, short videos, shorts. Try out everything, okay? Because it's the things you least suspect that get popular. And also, don't be afraid to embarrass yourself either, because trust me, I've done all sorts of embarrassing things in my time on YouTube, especially when I was reacting to my old content. Good lord, 13-year-old me did not fear what people thought of him. Of course, you know, there's a limit to things, you know, don't try and harm your chances of getting a job in the future, but just don't be afraid to embarrass yourself. And my final piece of advice for today is don't get too obsessed about the numbers. This kind of comes back to my, you know, keeping a work-life balance, sort of. You know, if you focus on numbers too much, you'll end up just being like, fuck, what's the point? That's not handy, that's not constructive. You know, don't get too focused on the numbers. And like I said before, it's the things you least expect that do the best. Now, if we just go to my most popular videos, I'll show you. Game Dev Tycoon was a complete shot in the dark for me. It's got 608 views, my most viewed, like, long-form video. Like, I didn't fucking expect that at all. That was a complete shot in the dark by me. I thought it was going to be it would be an average, you know, 20 views or, you know, 15, something like that. But no, very, very good video, performance-wise. Then Galvin, an indie Ben 10 fan game. That got a lot of views too. Then an ARG. None of those videos I expected to do well, but they did. Like, take a shot in the dark. Even if you think it's like, this is not going to do anything, this is going to be an average video, take the risk. Because trust me, it's the things you least expect. And like, if I scroll all the way down to my least viewed videos, I mean, a lot of these are pretty recent, granted. But a lot of these I was like, oh, these will do well. I didn't do as well as the things I expected that didn't do well. You know? I'm rambling. Anyway, I need to go back to my actual point. Don't get too focused on numbers. You know, I just had a whole ramble about them. You know, when it comes to your subscribers, your watch time, don't get too obsessed with it. I mean, sure, I make a lot of jokes about my watch time and all that, and my subscriber count, But if you focus on it too much, you just end up burning yourself out and just getting a bit depressed about it. And that's just not constructive. So if you look in your YouTube studio, you look at those graphs, you know, look at them, sure. You know, they can be very handy for, you know, things like retention and what you need to work on. But they're not the be-all and end-all, you know. Don't make them the whole basis of your YouTube channel, because then you'll just end up making content that you don't want to make, but you're just making it because it works. And that's a very, 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 very downward spiral. So you just got to be wary of that sort of thing. But anyway, I think that was all the advice I really wanted to give. Now, I know a lot of that advice is probably common sense to a lot of people. And, you know, a lot of it I just rambled for, because I really didn't make a script for this video, even though I should. Maybe I should experiment with that and make a script for a video one day. Make a video essay on a game. I don't know. There's so many ideas you can take with this, with content creation. And as a smaller content creator, you can take a lot more risks than bigger creators. You can really, really experiment, you know? There's not much of a risk to experiment when you're a smaller creator. But anyway, sorry for rambling. Actually, you know what? Bonus advice. Invest in a whiteboard. Seriously, invest in a whiteboard. You have no idea how handy this whiteboard is. If I get a quick video idea on a game that I want to make a video on, or just a specific idea I want to work down towards later on the line, write it down. I mean, it's very handy to just constantly look away from your desk and just see that and go, huh, I could do that today, or I could do that next week. Invest in a whiteboard. I mean, yeah, sure, you could write stuff on your phone, sure, but, you know, it's cool as a whiteboard. You can draw things. I mean, I did say don't get equipment that you don't need, but whatever. You know, I hope that advice is helpful to at least someone. I mean, again, I wanted to hit that sort of balance where I'm realistic, but I'm also not too harsh. So, you know, I'd like to say it's realistic advice. But anyway, so all you smaller content creators out there, keep going. You never know. Things could change. Your numbers can go up. Your numbers can go down. What matters is you stick with it. And to all of you who have supported me through my content creation journey so far, thank you. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. And I'll see you later, alligators. Bye.